A day of almost non-stop discussions about the fate of public sector workers. It began with the teachers' union standing their ground and culminated with the island's two largest unions joining forces to fight for their members. We start with the latest development, that of the Barbados Workers Union and the National Union of Public Workers forming an alliance to deal with the issue.
I'm more than disappointed that the government has moved ahead to lay off persons already, some 300 in drainage. So that is what the discussion is about. At the discussion, I will also be making it clear that Dennis Clark from the NUPW and I from the BWU have had a meeting, and we have decided to pool our resources, and we'll be dealing with this here on and after together.
Well, reporter Shane Seeley was at government headquarters when those talks concluded. He joins us now live. Shane, tell us what happened today.
Well, Pearson, I can tell you that the meeting lasted for about 3 hours this afternoon. It ended at about 5 o'clock this evening. The first to emerge from the meeting was the Minister of Finance, Chris Sinclair, followed by other government officials. Then, members of the Barbados Workers Union came down from the top floor of government headquarters with the General Secretary, Sir Roy Trotman. And he today sounded a warning to government about going ahead with any more layoffs. Here's what he had to say.
Offensive, the kind of offense that may lead to industrial dislocation if it is continued by any other institution, statutory board or department of government. If people have been advised that they should look at their options, that is fine. But if any department or any statutory board were to proceed to take similar action without proper consultative exercises, and if those members are members of the Barbados Workers Union, then we are going to have dislocation in this country.
Now, Sir Roy is holding out hope for saving the jobs of 3,000 public servants, saying the task is not impossible, but he's made it clear that there has to be a process of consultation.
We have agreed since yesterday that our next series of meetings will be meetings when the National Union of Public Workers under Dennis Clark and the Barbados Workers Union under my colleagues and myself, where we will be speaking with the minister regarding how we can best address this difficulty.
And while the NUPW wasn't there for this meeting, Sir Roy and union members will be meeting with the Finance Minister Chris Sinclair and his team next Tuesday as the bid continues to stem massive layoffs in the public service.
Shane, thank you very much for that report. Teachers can rest assured that when the new school term starts next Monday, none of them will be going home. It's the word from President of the Barbados Union of Teachers, Pedro Shepherd, who says, for the moment, all is well in the teaching service.
I believe teachers were more relaxed and more comfortable today, having heard from the union, the Barbados Union of Teachers, over the last few days and certainly at the beginning of this meeting, that we have been given the assurance by the Minister of Finance that teachers are not going to be affected at this time. And once they were told that, I believe they felt very comfortable that they will be in the classrooms on Monday doing what they are accustomed doing, and that is teaching the nation's children.
Mr. Shepherd made that disclosure following a meeting of more than 300 teachers at Solidarity House, where the union addressed the main issue of pending layoffs in the public sector. Despite the assurances, he said the union remains very aware of the ongoing economic situation and that the BUT has not dismissed the possibility outright. The BUT has made a number of suggestions to help boost this island's revenues. They include some that mirror those recently put forward by the NUPW, from the re-establishment of bus fares for school children to a tighter rein-in of the use of ML and MP vehicles outside of regular work hours. Meanwhile, BUT General Secretary Herbert Gittins said he received a call from Education Minister Ronald Jones right after today's meeting to assure the union that no teachers will be laid off.
And he wanted us to emphasize to teachers that they are safe at this point in time, that all of the teachers have been reinstated to their various positions. If there are any teachers who wouldn't be assigned, it might be those who were simply substituting for somebody who was on sick leave, and where that person comes back in or so on. Where there wouldn't be a place or anything, but teachers, the health and the protective services were not were not interfered with in this realm.
And the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union is also making its voice heard on the issue. Its president, Marianne Redmond, is warning government to forget about touching teachers. She says there's already a concrete agreement between government and the BSTU that the teaching complement would not be touched if indeed there was a retrenchment exercise. Ms. Redmond says the BSTU will not treat too favorably to any breach of this promise, as evidently there will be some repercussions.
We in the BSTU are sending a clear warning that if any temporary teachers who are our members are laid off, then the union will be advising parents of students in our school system that our members will not be in a position to substitute for those laid off, with all the inherent implications of such a situation.
Ms. Redmond says there has been an alleged list compiled at the request of the Ministry of Education and circulating at the level of principals, which is supposed to comprise all temporary teachers who are likely to be retrenched. She says if such a list exists, it could only have been to speedily regulate the steady appointment of teachers in abeyance and nothing more.
The BSTU is advising all its members to disregard rumors of the imminent layoff of some over 150 temporary teachers. We are advising all our members to turn up to their staff meetings on Monday, 6 January 2014, and so to resume and continue their duties from then.
Well, for the second day running, employees of the Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union are off the job. They're protesting the sending home of the credit union's loans supervisor and marketing manager on Wednesday. The striking workers claim that the sending home of the two employees was not carried out consistent with normal procedures and that management did not follow the collective agreement process, which allows for consultation on the matter. Again today, the protesters maintained their silence, not disclosing any information to the media. The workers are being represented by the Barbados Workers Union. When contacted this evening, management did not officially comment, but sources close to management tell CBC that the credit union's board is at this time meeting to discuss the walkout by staff. The BWU Cooperative Credit Union is a separate entity to the Barbados Workers Union and as such is not managed by the Barbados Workers Union. The current economic recession in Barbados has affected sales for vendors in the Palmetto Mall this Christmas season. A CBC team spoke to some of them and most have put their trust in God to help them through these rough times.
For the Christmas season, most vendors saw a gradual increase in sales a mere 2 days before Christmas. One vendor says this is a drastic change from previous years.
Food is a last resort because people are more interested in like curtains and mats and household stuff. Then you get food the 2 last days, the Monday and the Tuesday, because like them is the time you can cook for Christmas Day and Christmas bank holiday. But the days before is like preparation, cleaning the house, get a new stove, get a new bed, get the carpenter, repair the house, paint, that sort of stuff. But food is the last thing that you come to buy. So it's fine that the 2 days before Christmas, the Monday and Tuesday, people will start paying some interest in food.
Another lamented about the prices at which he has to buy his fruits, and thus making it difficult for customers to buy his produce.
Food stuff high, the goods they gotta buy that to sell again high. People complaining, you know. They gotta try to cut back on certain things, you know, in order to get the good on, or to travail. You know what I mean? And it's be hard when you go through your food because you know about them, the profits that you know you drain and it don't be match. You know, after paying high prices for them and the profits is a low, you know, and then the food spoiling, pan rapid. You know what I mean? It make it hard for me.
To keep customers against the growing competition from other vendors, some had to make their displays more colorful and appealing to increase their Christmas sales. Sales are trickling in every day, and with those few sales, the vendors are trying to be as content as possible as it continues into the new year.
I can't complain for the sales for the season because as a Christian, the word of God says, a little bit of contentment is great gain. And every day I come here, God provides for me. And I know He provides for everyone inside here.
Barbadians are holding on to whatever money they have, and vendors are trying their best to regain and keep whatever customers they have to sustain themselves and their families. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
Teachers have been given advice to prepare for the school term next week by setting boundaries for the children in the classroom. The Most Reverend Anglican Bishop of Barbados and Archbishop of the West Indies, Dr. John Holder, has acknowledged that there is moral decline among young children.
One is to be a caring person. If someone is in your class or in your group who may not be doing so, but be a caring person. Look out for each other and look out in a positive way. I think we can become extremely individualistic and we're looking in society, but we have to teach our young people to look out for each other. Secondly, do not get involved in anything that cannot help you to be a better person. There are a lot of attractions up there, whether it's violence or the styles of life or lifestyles or attitudes that cannot help them to develop into mature, wholesome individuals. So you stay away from the negative things in society. And the third one is listen to the elders, your parents, your teachers. You don't know it all. Those who have traveled the road before you, who have had the experiences of dealing with life, issues of life. So listen to your elders, and hopefully, with the grace of God, they'll be able to have the wisdom and intelligence that you need to guide you along the way.
Dr. Holder says that adults in society must set rules for children to follow, otherwise things will only get more out of control.
My word to the teachers of the country who will be beginning school very shortly is to just ensure they maintain the standards set out by the school, and they help the young people in their care to understand that in this life there must be a set of rules and guidelines, that it cannot be a free-for-all. And there are certain standards that we must maintain as human beings, whether we are young, middle-aged, or we are old.
Barbados is not open for business for people who want to sell drugs. This from the president of the National Committee for the Prevention of Alcoholism and Drug Dependency, Pastor Victor Roach. This is in light of the recent legalization of selling of pot in Colorado, the United States, for recreational use.
The battle is not lost because Washington and Colorado have adopted the position of legalizing marijuana. They still have to answer to the federal government, which deems that marijuana is an illegal drug. The National Committee for the Prevention of Alcoholism and Drug Dependency and the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints believe that drug use leads to drug abuse. Statistics tell us internationally that some 10 to 15% of all persons who use drugs develop drug problems.
And President of the Church of Latter-day Saints, Stuart Sampson, is reminding Barbadians that the law must be upheld.
The customs and law enforcement officials will have to be just as vigilant and begin treating marijuana now as a substance that might be legal overseas but not legal here. And so it would have whatever ramification that those substances have. In certain parts of the world, you might be very legal to carry this stuff on you. Over here, for right now, no. It should also be mentioned that as citizens of whatever country we are, we have to respect the laws of other countries that we go to.
A burst main has caused a St. George man to lose his sweet potato crop while turning his backyard into a swamp. Dash Valley resident Derek Holder is making an appeal to the Barbados Water Authority to fix his burst pipe. He says a report was made on the 5th of November last year, but since then, thousands of gallons of water are being wasted.
I've tried and tried and tried, and those who works with the authority have seen it. I mean, what else can I do? Right, well, I can't do anything else. I mean, I reported it several times already. Right, and this is not good enough.
Well, the Barbados Water Authority says it was unaware of the problem and has dispatched a crew to fix the pipe.